I'm Drosy1, and thank you all for joining us here tonight. We will be underway momentarily. And another Vanilla World 1. What is up with this, Fred? We do, however, have one of our beta levels to start off. And that just threw One Fine Day for a loop already. Booba's getting through it. For those of you just tuning in, when Fred was designing the randomizer, he found 8 levels that weren't actually used in the game that were in the code, so he decided to, just shuffle them in. So here you can see how the Game 2 settings are a bit more random. We have a fortress where 1-2 would usually be, so fortresses, pipes, levels, they can all get shuffled with each other here. And ibuba decides to take the low road while One Fine Day takes the high road. Last time around in 4F1, it was the runners took the other direction. Pays off for One Fine Day. He's able to keep a Starman, 2 Boom Boom, and get the famous upside down question mark. And here we have 2-5. With the runners very close to being in sync. There goes the sun, dootin' dootin'. Oh, nice. A hammer from the first set of Hammer Bros. It'll be interesting to see what each of our runners decides to do with that hammer, considering how much of a difference it made in the first race. Now, the interesting thing about stars here is that the game never intended you to be able to have star power when you fought a Koopa, since these airships were all auto-scrollers. So, even though both of our runners came in with star power, they couldn't damage Larry that way, other than, at least he couldn't damage them. But they do a nice synchronized Larry kill. And we have King Bond. Ooh, Princess gives us a cloud. That's always nice. And we have World 4 Second, which we had in the first race as well. If all the worlds show up in the same order as they did in the first race, that is going to be nuts, because that is a 1 in 5,040 chance. Booba unfortunately taking a death here in 6F3, while One Fine Day plows ahead to Boom Boom. And it's an interesting setup, I guess, because the developers never intended dry bones to appear on that screen. It doesn't turn around when it hits the edge, it just walks off. Let's see what the Hammer Bros have now. Another hammer! Wow. We might see some serious level skipping later on in the game at this rate. And we see our first mushroom house. Neither of the runners went into a mushroom house the first time around, but one fine day decides to go in, gets a leaf, and now both of our runners are in Fort Knox at the same time. Except that one fine day can actually fly, while ibuba's gonna have to wait here and get the vanilla Tanuki suit, which is guaranteed, since this and 6-5 are the two levels that you must have flight ability in order to beat. And that also builds the bridge to the castle. Bridges can be something of an equalizer here because while you can break locks with the hammer, you cannot build bridges with the hammer. You have to beat whatever fort is locking that bridge. And let's see what Iggy's like to... Ooh. One fine day takes an unfortunate hit there. And Iggy just... Ooh. He's really giving one fine day a licking. Takes the full 5 hits. But one fine day wins by a score of 5-2. Hopefully Booba can get this without taking a hit. Yes, he does, so we will see the King's special Tanuki message. Ah, yes. The king thinks he's playing Dragon Warrior 1. And there went the Tanuki suit, alas. By the way, this is a lightning speed race. We're already on the 3rd world, and we're not even 9 minutes in. And now one fine day is going on to World 1 Fortress while ibuba backtracks to play the end card game. One fine day does not check to see if there's a leaf power-up, though, so again, we will not know if there's an interesting item where the whistle would normally be in vanilla. Just to remind you, whistles have been removed. Runners must go through all 8 worlds. The whistles have been replaced with other items at random. Ooh, ibuba takes an unfortunate death there. While one fine day finds that one of the randomized pipes leads directly to Skyworld. We will not be seeing the tower today. So ibuba does decide preemptively to use that leaf, and we will see what the item is. It is a leaf! A leaf, a leaf. My kingdom for a leaf. And One Fine Day shows us that where 5-9 would normally be is one of our beta levels. Sort of a 5-3 ripoff with water. And on to the World 2 airship. Boy tricks One Fine Day with a jump there, but only takes 2 hits to go down, so it's all good. And ibuba back in rare Tanuki form. Okay, I should get that reference, but I can't think of it offhand. And we have the Air Force kicking off World 4, which I only quickly caught a glimpse, but I believe World 4 comes in the form of World 3 today. And a Boss Bass level. Gotta love him. Once you beat him, you get about 5 seconds before he comes back. And then just don't be standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ah, thank you, Tom Otak. Robin Hood Men in Tights. And here we have 1-1. With a lot more enemies than you normally see in 1-1. ibuba does his job of getting past Boss Bass there. And One Fine Day is finally taking an end card game break. And ibuba completes the end card game. ibuba thinks about whether to use his hammer to go through, decides against it. That was, after all, the decision that won the game for him ultimately last time, not using his hammer there. So for the time being, he will remain 1 stage behind. While One Fine Day found the pipe to the end, so let's see how much trouble Wendy's going to give us today. Only 2 hits, nice. Yeah, with these randomized pipes in the Game 2 setting, some of these worlds can really be blink and you'll miss them. And it looked like the princess just gave an anchor at the end of that level. Anchors are disabled and will turn into a random item when you use them. You never know what they will actually do until you use one and find out. And one fine day discovers 2-4 sitting here in the middle of World 7. To answer a question in chat, the rest of Group F is MIDI Guy DP, who is currently 2-3, DLP316, who has not yet played a game, and Soundly Paranoid, who is 0-5. And if you weren't here for the first match, I mentioned that if Ibuba wins this match, he will have clinched a spot in brackets already. But One Fine Day still has a winning record, so he has a very good shot at getting to brackets as well. Wow, the 4-pipe island. That's impressive. That's a lot of pipes. But it'll take Ibuba to pretty close to the end of the world. He has to be careful here. He used his cloud to bypass that fortress, so now he'd better beat 5-1 on the first shot, or he is not going to be a happy camper. And he's through. While One Fine Day takes another end card game break. Which he seems to be doing well, remembering where stuff is. Oh, almost. Ibuba is now in Piranha 2 level, one of the very few levels that doesn't get randomized in this game. Though the reward is randomized, and it is a Starman. So, depending how long it takes One Fine Day to find the right pipe, this could give Ibuba quite a lead. As he goes through Airship 1 and finds Ludwig, who is having his usual Quake power. One Fine Day is in Super Tanks. So, just as a note, Roy's and Ludwig's Quake power from the vanilla game get randomized to any 2 Koopalings in the randomizer. They can always still get randomized back to Roy and Ludwig, as luck may have it. Ah, 50s rock. But as I was starting to say, the only exception is that if the Quake power is randomized to Lemmy, it just disappears from him because Lemmy doesn't jump. One Fine Day finishes off Piranha 2 here, and we'll be in the airship momentarily. Ibuba is making good progress through the Kupahari Desert here, which means that World 6 will be in World 7, and then we'll get to World 8, which is always in its vanilla location. And Ibuba suicides his way out of there. Clouds and hammers through instead. Uses a leaf, had better not die. Taking it very carefully to make sure he doesn't accidentally fall in. And Morton only takes one hit, luckily for Ibuba. Well, One Fine Day is now having his fun with Gelectros. Thank you, King Ronald Reagan. Okay, One Fine Day also hammering his way through. He's not even going to check that level, which is just as well saved himself a life. Okay, I guess the lock that broke, or the bridge it built from beating that fort, was off screen. We have a rather annoying 3-2 here. And Ibuba gets another cloud, which I'm sure he's thankful to see. And the dreaded World 8 fort. Unless you're Jim Morrison, I hear he had a thing for the doors. Ooh, Ibuba taking an unfortunate hit there, and another one there. But he does get that P-switch, and gets a Starman, which should last long enough to take out Boom Boom. Yes, it does. Okay, looks like chat's running me out of town. Well, that's all, folks. Enjoy the game. And I'm back. Did you miss me? Ibuba's going through another beta level, complete with Boss Bass here. Oh, a bit of a Hammer Brother race going on there. One fine day showing us 4-3 with a lot of Karibo shoes. You want a story? Okay. Once upon a time, there were two plumbers in Brooklyn named Mario and Luigi Mario. Their favorite food was mushrooms. Not sure how the story ends, though. So I guess while I wasn't looking, one fine day must have used a hammer very advantageously or found a pipe that helped him skip ahead. Since ibuba's now in 4-3, which I know one fine day is already done, and one fine day is on the airship already. Only 2 hits to take down Lemmy. So much for my theory about Fred always making Lemmy as obnoxious as possible. And for those of you who might not know, while I'm referring to Fred constantly, Fred is F. Coughlin, the creator of this randomizer, as well as the Zelda 1 randomizer. He is also one of our runners in this tournament, so you can see him get to suffer at his own randomizer if you tune in at the right time. Nothing like a good 7F2. Fortunately, there's nothing like a good 7F2. Booba making short work of Lemmy there. Nice dodging by one fine day. As you can see, the hands are randomized throughout World 8, and since that one is at a dead end, there's absolutely zero reason to do it. Now ibuba gets to have his fun in 7F2. Okay, one fine day is looking around, trying to decide which pipe to take. The lock that the fort was next to didn't actually break, so he's going all the way back to the beginning and trying the other pipe. while Ibuba finds the famous underwater fort. Oh, now that was interesting. A double lock block. I haven't seen that too often. And eventually, one fine day, winds up in 1-1 with fire chomps. One, two, excuse me, I misspoke. So we have a real race here. It's really whoever finds the pipe that goes to Bowser first. And I guess the underwater fort broke one of the two locks that surrounded One Fine Day because Ibuba was actually able to progress. One Fine Day now finds himself in the weird vertical beta level that looks like something out of World 7. Ibuba puts down that boom boom. Let's see what lock that breaks. One Fine Day has now found his way to the underwater fort. Unfortunately, the lock that last 40 Ibuba didn't help, but continuing on, he is now in the final level before Bowser's Castle. And the sun is really getting in the way of doing that Koopa kick. Let's see if the Koopa can get rid of the sun while we're waiting. Nope, the sun is a pesky dodger there, wow. Ibuba checks, sees he has no hammer suit, so he's just gonna go for the firepower kill. Didn't get the clip that time, unfortunately. It was a really nice swag, but he gets that clip. Nice. And managed to dodge that ball, too. And here's Bowser! And this time Ibuba does get the fire kill, so get your GGs in chat for Ibuba. He finishes with an official SRL time of 34 minutes, 19 seconds. And now, One Fine Day goes for the swag frog suit in Bowser's Castle. And yes, Mew Mew fan, those are the correct standings for Group F. So Ibuba has clinched a place in brackets. He's about, I think, the third or fourth runner to do so. The thing about the frog suit is you can't do that clip in it. And once One Fine Day finishes here, we'll see about getting both of our runners in for an interview. Ooh, tough time jumping onto that Bowser statue in the frog suit. Well, unfortunately, that frog attempt didn't cut it, so One Fine Day will now try the more standard Fire Flower route. And here's Bowser. Just need a few gazillion fireballs here. Unfortunately, he's not standing in a good position to actually shoot Bowser. Oh, and he takes a hit, and he must have been getting really close too, so we will now have to wait for the standard Bowser kill. And Bowser's through the floor. So get your GGs in chat. One Fine Day will finish with an official SRL time of 37 minutes and 54 seconds. So GG to both of our runners for both playing really good games, really close, could have gone either way. And I will be right back as I try to get them in. Sorry for the delay here, just checking to see if our runners are going to be joining us. The jury's still out on that. So, in the meantime, we have a fabulous song and dance routine for you. Thanks to a certain level that didn't appear. I did actually have something ready, so here goes. In the Navy, something that ought to rhyme. In the Navy, if I just had the time. In the Navy, in the Navy. Thank you, I'll be here all week.